going. Woo! Okay, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 403, Sequelitis. We did this yesterday. This is part 2 of Egoraptor's now pretty bad take on 3D Zelda games, which I thought it was just a bad... This is like a really bad video. This is like a sad... Oh, come on, man. You're just...
It's sometimes funny.
It's like a games journalist complaining.
It's a guy who doesn't know how to play the games, who's very popular, bitch and moan about him sucking at games, and we're like, oh, dude.
Is that kind of what I said?
I didn't know it was that bad. I watched a few pieces here and there. I thought, okay, he has some bad takes here. They're not horrible, but he just keeps going with them. And his love of the 16-bit games they're strange. I mean, he likes it for his own reasons. That's fine.
The 2D half of the series, yeah.
Which is great.
He's very biased towards Link to the Past. It's his favorite game of all time.
Everyone loves Link to the Past. There's no question that it's a great
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
He's comparing it to... fucking every molecule has to be Link to the Past, according to him, if it's a Zelda game.
It's a strange take to be biased towards a 16-bit 2D game.
He's more based towards the first Zelda game. He already complains that things in Link to the Past made Zelda worse.
That was weird. He's like, oh, well, look how hard and great and simple it is in the NES era. It's like, yeah, that they had to do. They couldn't do much else.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I didn't like the first Zelda. Like, I tried playing it like a year ago, and I was like so confused. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, not a single clue. And I had no instruction manual at all. And I was like, where do I need to go? Like, I finished the first dungeon, and that was it. I was like, nope, go away.
But Mark, that's
I know that's the point.
That's the thing. That's the point. You're there. Here's your adventure.
There's not a single dialogue.
Where am I?
mean, here's...
Honestly, I got that feeling back personally with Morrowind.
Yeah, Morrowind is a game like that too.
Yeah, because you can talk to tons of people and they tell you tons of stuff, and some will even give you quests, and then they will give you they will even give you descriptions of where you find the crypt where you're supposed to get the skull from. Okay. And you don't have a modern mini map that tells you where to go and these stupid waypoints and holographic things in the world. No, you have a completely crappy world map that has nothing in it, that is way too pixelated. And when you fill it up, it's filled up with little squares that overshadow the actual map, so you can't see the territory anymore. You also don't have a quest log, because it's kept chronologically, which is completely useless, just like Baldur's Gate 2. So you need a piece of paper, or a notebook, a little notebook of paper, and a pencil or a pen, and write your quest log yourself outside of the game while you play the game, so that you keep remembering what you're doing, where you wanted to go, and so on. So that tomorrow or next week, when the next time is you have time to play the game, you still know what the fuck you wanted to do and where you're supposed to go. And then you try to follow the directions that NPC gave you to find that crypt. And you find a couple landmarks that might match the thing, and then you get into the bloody place. And there's way too strong skeletons and ghosts and all this horrible stuff in there. And, oh my god, you can't find the bloody...
Friend or traitor come. Come to me through fire and war.
Yeah, but you can't find the bloody skull, and you run out because it's so fucking scary, and the monsters are way too hard. And you get on and oh fuck.
And
I get back. I'll talk to the NPC again.
Yeah.
What?
And your hits are not going to count most of the time when you're level 1.
So the first part. Then you go back to and you want to go back to the town. You don't have fast travel, so you have to walk. You have to find your way back. So you go back, and then you notice, oh, there on the left, there's another crypt. Well, why not? I have some supplies left. Let's check that. And it's really creepy, and it's all atmosphere, and it's particle effects, and really eerie, and And then you think, but there are no enemies. And then you find the altar with the skull on it, and you realize, oh, I was in the wrong crypt. Oh, fuck me. And then you think, okay, if I take the skull, there's probably hell breaking loose. So I grab it and run out as fast as you can. And because there's probably ghosts popping up and everything, but nothing's actually happening. So because it's a starting quest, there's actually nothing happening, but it was a whole horrible, tense adventure because I went into the wrong crypt. That was fun. That's how an adventure should go. Just get lost, get accidentally into a high-level area, have fun, don't die, hopefully. And on the way back, notice, oh, it was actually really easy. I just missed the spot. Same happened to me in the Dwemer ruins, by the way, where you were supposed to get the cube. And I ran through the whole fucking dungeon, except for the lower levels with the Dwemer. And on the way back, come out of a wall that falls apart, back into the main hall and think, okay, I went through the whole fucking... This is the entrance hall. Went through the whole fucking thing. Even found the secret room, and I didn't find this fucking cube. Okay, I'm gonna go back out. Oh wait, there's a shelf on the side next to the entry door. It has some plates on it and some rancid books and the cube. It was right next to the entry door. I fucking hate Love Morrowind because it keeps doing this shit to me.
All right, well, let's get looking at the video again. He's talking about the idea of getting the big key and the big chest, and then the whole expectation of opening the chest and walking to the chest is all you need to.
He wants to go to the Christmas tree and open the presents. That's the best thing of the whole year for him.
The whole thing about the suspense about what's in the chest, and it's like once you actually get there, it's instant gratification. He's making this stupid nitpick about, it takes another 5 seconds to know what's in the chest. Oh, big deal.
Yeah, it's a completely childish attitude.
If anything, that kind of helps the suspense.
But the level of emotion he has about this, that's the childish part. Of course, it's great to, I get the big chest. Let's see what new tool I get. Yeah, okay, that's cool. The focus, the hard focus he has on this, that is weird.
Mm-hmm.
The comparison to the original NES, meaning, there's no chest, you just see the item on the whatever, you pick it up, as opposed to the mystery of opening a box. You're like, okay, buddy, that's part. I'm sure there's some excitement in Christmas time that you get the same way playing Zelda: Link to the Past, but it's a strange argument because you could say any game with a chest, you don't know what's in it. Like every RPG that has boxes or drawers or anything that you could open that has stuff in it. So because it's specific to a dungeon and it's color-coded to look exactly the same way in everyone, it's like, all right, fine.
He must love the roguelites that have question marks for items you don't have yet.
Oh yeah, what is that thing?
Yeah, well, in a way, I envy that childish simplicity.
Oh yeah, the ignorance of not knowing something.
How easily he can be made to enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep.
He must have loved in Dark Souls when he gets chomped up by the Mimikyus. That was fun, right?
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
When you arrive, instant. It opens right away when you hit the button. It shows what it is, done. I know, it may not appear epic, and it may seem kind of silly and video gamey, but the feeling of suspense is real and very valid. Ocarina decided to add in bullshit. Link opens up the treasure chest all like, what the fuck is this? Oh my god, I'm amazed! Who cares that he's amazed? I want to be amazed!
Okay, so if you guys don't know how Ocarina of Time was made, that was actually motion captured. There's many things that were motion captured, and they put all these dots on a chest and had a guy open it. So they wanted to be more cinematic and more fanfare, more ooh, which is, remember that argument we heard from that fellow playing Fallout? And What was it? All those games do not have fanfare, therefore I'm not invested in them.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh god.
Question: Was Wind Waker motion captured? I honestly couldn't tell.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think like some of the cutscenes where Ganondorf is bitch slapping Zelda. That was definitely mocap. Because like the movement is just like too real.
Yeah, pretty much.
I only know it about Ocarina of Time because it was all, we have this new technology and this new technology and this new technology. Let's see what we can do with it and how amazing we can make it. And sometimes you go overboard. Sometimes you miss a chance. But I think Ocarina of Time, for first fucking effort, it nailed most of it.
It's not bad.
Yeah. I think it made very little mistakes. To me, it's timeless, but you complain about that I see this through rose-tinted glasses. I had kids. Before I give them all the modern stuff, I'd give them games like Ocarina of Time first, so that they can appreciate them.
All right. It's good for puzzle solving, too. It's really fun. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, puzzle solving.
I think like the only time when I really hate this suspense that Zelda games do is when you pick up like a 5 rupee or like 10 rupee for the 100th time. I think Twilight Princess was really guilty of that. Like every single time it pauses and tells you that like you picked up 5 rupees.
Yeah, for the chests, not for the actual physical.
The first
pickup,
time in the play session. Yeah.
not the first time in a play session. The first time every time you load the save. I remember.
Yes.
Play session.
Bad. That must have been a bad error.
Yeah, but it's only like once every time you load the save for the physical rupees. For the chest, it stays like the same.
Of course, I didn't say the chest at all. It was the rupees.
No. I'm just saying, just to clarify that point.
Okay. On the Wii U version, I didn't have that issue.
They fixed it.
They
fixed it for Wind Waker. So
yeah,
every single
finally.
time you replay the song, it does not do the.
It doesn't do
cinematic.
It doesn't do the automatic like replay of it for exactly. Yeah. It doesn't do the automated replay. It doesn't do that.
I do remember.
Maybe
in
just maybe
Link to the Past, if you maxed out your crystals, you can't collect like 999. You can't collect any more, which. Yeah, your rupees. Sorry,
rupees. Yes,
which was a big problem in Twilight Princess with how many there were. It's like you waste a 200 rupee chest, even though your wallet is only missing like 50. That's it. It's gone forever.
Which also,
I always had that problem in Zelda games. I always had too many rupees. And then Breath of the Wild came along, and finally, Skyward Sword is a little bit more sparse on the rupees too at first, and then Breath of the Wild comes along and there's no rupees in the wild. If you're lucky, you find a green rupee under a rock. Yeah. It's very rare, but you can find a green rupee under a rock.
Yeah, this was after the rupee inflation.
Remember the explanation for why there's shit under rocks and in pots and in grass and all the other shit. It's like they created an entire species to explain that. If you remember, I think it was like the Minish. From Minish Cap. Yeah. They're those little guys are the ones that hide all the crap everywhere. And probably by the time of Breath of the Wild, they were pretty much extinct. That's why you barely find anything normally.
Hey, that's at least that's some kind of self-aware story writing jokes.
Yeah, it's like at least if anything, logic would dictate that would most likely be the case, that they're just extinct at that point. but back to for Twilight Princess for a moment, it's like they put a lot of rupees everywhere. They very much encourage you to use ammunition and to buy stuff more often from the way they designed that.
It does remind me.
They encourage you.
They encourage all that stuff drops as well. Why? There's no need to buy anything. There's always too much.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of other games where you have an inventory limit, like in Secret of Mana, as fun as it is to kill everything you see. Like you fight a really unnecessary enemy in the wild, and all you get is like a box of candy. Or the treasure chest opens up, you just get but you can't carry any more candy, so you just chuck it.
Oh, chocolate.
I know. You run out of room. Yeah. So it's like
you can have 4 candy, 4 chocolate, 4 honey. That's your healing items.
Yeah.
And The limitation was good, but did the chest close again when you had too much?
No,
or
it
did
just
it
disappears.
disappear?
It just disappears. Yeah.
So it's
I
just
think
wasted.
I think Twilight Prince. I think the HD versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess just closed the chest again because. Oh no, the original version of Twilight Princess. Like if it exceeds what you're missing, it just puts it back. And I love that design choice. It's like it's in previous games. It just once you pick it up, it's gone forever. But no, Twilight Princess has the common sense. Like, hey, you pick up a 200 rupee when you're only missing 50. No, it goes right back in the chest if you for when you need it later.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I like that. I didn't keep that for Breath of the Wild though.
I mean, then again, you're just picking shit up left and right in that game anyway.
Yeah, but it took me a while to figure out that, they have a trading system here. I can sell stuff to make rupees. That's how it works. Oh.
Yeah,
I don't need to hunt ninjas who do drop rupees.
Yeah, they pretty much give you so many weapons and armor and all this other crap that you can just sell the excess of that and you'll be fine.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, regarding back to the video, he is definitely too dumb to play Lufia, but I'm pretty sure he would like the Ancient Cave, which is a 99 level randomly generated dungeon that at the end has a special boss, and goal of the dungeon is not just to get to level 99. But also to find the treasures of Iris, whoever the goddess was or the poser goddess that really was Eris, and that this is a special mode of the game where you can put build your party from all the story characters that were there. You can build your special party, but every time you go in, you start at level 1 with nothing. No items, not even weapons. And as you progress through the dungeon, there's tons of chests there. Later, mimics appear, of course, that you can still distinguish from the other chests visually. And there are blue chests. Blue chests are super treasures that you can keep as you leave the dungeon and can take back in as you go back, as you restart it. And every time you restart it, you're back at level 1. But then you have the super treasure, and every time you have you come across a blue chest, you think, oh, this might be something really good, or something you already have, or it might be something cursed. That's really shit. Or it might be a blue chest mimic, because those things, the red ones, they follow you around the map when you get too close. The blue ones, they just sit there, and they are nasty beasts. He would, I don't know, so he would love the blue chests, definitely. You would get the same feeling from it. He would probably hate the game for when it gives him a mimic and throw it in the room.
Why can I imagine just the moment Aaron actually gets to that one puzzle with the block moving, the one you mentioned yesterday? Why do I get the feeling his head would just explode the first time he would try that?
I don't think he would even get there, because he would fail the first puzzle, the preliminary puzzle to get there.
Oh.
There's the volcano has, I personally would say, the 3 hardest puzzles in the game. That is the fire arrow against the plants puzzle, then the optional break the wall puzzle, and the block puzzle that I showed yesterday. And I really suggest to you. I posted the screenshot in the stream memes, and you saw it on the stream yesterday. If you go to the end, if you have some Legos, just get some Lego blocks or plates. Put this up, and you can build this puzzle yourself and try to solve it.
Like I said yesterday, just trying to do it in my head, my head started to hurt.
Dude, if you can do that, if you can solve that just by thinking, you should get an instant chair at the university, because you have a very high IQ.
Veterans discount.
I think the solution to that has I think something between 50 and 80 steps.
Oh God. And that's like the best attempts go that high.
No, I don't know.
Oh god.
I don't know, but that was the solution in the manual. If you didn't know how to continue that, and oh, by the way, the solution to this one, I told you the German versions of the games like this, the Nintendo games had walkthroughs. This puzzle did not have its solution in the walkthrough. They left it out deliberately.
Oh god.
They just couldn't do it themselves, or they just didn't want to.
No, I think they deliberately didn't want to spoil the completely optional hardest puzzle in the game.
What?
Really?
That's just my guess, because everything else is in there.
Oh.
And it is unlikely that they didn't have a solution for it, because they have a solution for every puzzle in the game.
Yeah. Weird. What a strange strategy guy to not have a solution to the most complicated puzzle or boss or whatever. It's like, that's like, okay, come on, guys. Do your job.
No, I think it's not because of not doing your job. I think there's I can't put it into words, but I think it's a good move in that one, because it's still content for children, and we gave you everything, and here's a challenge that we do not tell you this is how you solve it. Do it yourself.
As you should.
I think it's okay to end the hand holding at the hardest part.
All right, let's keep going.
Amazed. Fucking treasure already. I beat the dudes blocking it. I climbed the ladder or whatever and got here. Why do I gotta wait? Just because the game needs to be all epic and 3D whooshy whooshy because of all the graphics and polygons and all that whatnot. I gotta wait look at how many chests I can open in that time.
An unfortunate consequence of the 3D transition.
God, there's so much waiting in Ocarina. You gotta wait for a door to close. You gotta wait for a character to stop talking. You gotta wait for the dialogue box to tell you how to use bombs for the 47th goddamn time. Wait for the switch to make a music tone and open a door across the room. Wait for Link to go flying backwards and then get up off the ground. Wait for bombs to blow up. How fucking long does it take to switch between worlds?
You idiot.
Have no patience.
Not just that. So he's an absolute child. Like he talks like a 3-year-old would act. But bombs in the other games take a long time to explode as well. That's on purpose. The doors also open with a pause of the game. In the other games, you hit the switch, and the door usually the game freezes for a few frames while the door opens. Depends on the puzzle. In Ocarina, it just takes a few more frames. All his criticism is just bullshit, just like yesterday.
Yeah.
You gotta play the of light. Say yes. Watch the cutscene. Walk up to the Master Sword plot. Watch the cutscene. Walk out of the Temple of Time. Play whatever song brings you the closest to where you want to go. Say yes. Watch the cutscene and walk all the way to where you want to be.
Dude, do you have a fast travel mechanic? Just like in Link to the Past, where you have the bird. The difference is that in Link to the Past, the world switch mechanic was in part puzzle solving, because you could do it in random places in the world. In Link to the Past, that is not the case. You just have the central switch place. But that's okay. It doesn't take that long. And usually you're not jumping around back and forth between the times. You stay in one time for a very long time.
Except for the Spirit Temple, where you gotta switch over for a little moment and then switch right back.
Yeah, but it's really that's the only one of the only big time where you're actually forced to use that. Where you have to change something in the dungeon so that as adult Link you can enter the dungeon proper. So for that you have to first discover the dungeon as adult Link, can't progress. You get the warp song for it. You go to the Temple of Time, go back into the present where Link is a kid, warp to the temple, go into the temple, solve the puzzle,
And prevent 9/11.
prevent 9/11, and then you go back to the Temple of Time, go back to adult Link, and then you enter the dungeon proper. That is the only time it has a hard we play around with the times mechanic. All other things, I believe, are solely side quests, optional stuff, and just things you do on the side that
And the well.
The well.
Yeah, but like Ocarina of Time's overworld map is like so small. Like even just like thinking about it, it's just it maybe takes like 1 hour to go through all of the areas, like the edge of each entrance. But Aaron is making excuses here. Definitely excuses.
Yeah. Chad is right. This is all about instant gratification for him. He's unable to wait until he gets the candy. Like if you put there's these instant gratification tests for children to figure out when does a child develop the ability to say, I am going to skip on the one candy I get now and wait 10 minutes because the adult promised me to give me free candies if I don't eat the one now. And before a certain age, kids can't do that. They want the one candy now. And he is the kid that is so retarded, so emotionally immature, that he will always take the one candy now instead of waiting 10 minutes to get free candies. It's what it looks like.
Okay.
And link to the pack. Quit Premiere, press a button, you're there. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Okay, so
Also, that's a lie. This is a lie. This is only to get out of the Dark World into Hyrule.
yeah, so
If you want to get back into the Dark World, you have to either take the mirror passage back where you came through, or have to find one of the 8 teleporters into the Dark World, of which some you can only access later because they are hard locked through game progression. Like you have to find the stronger power bracelets because they're hidden under the heavy stones.
all right, so let's just talk about the actual cart size of these 16-bit era, and then we talk about the N64. There's a lot more memory being processed, and the bus on those machines weren't that big. We're talking maybe a megabyte. So these things are really slow to load. If you have a giant 3D world and you're transitioning between levels or opening up new levels, that's a lot of memory to pump out through the N64. It takes more time because it's bigger. There's more data to pump through. Now, you could make the argument, why don't they just make a bigger 16-bit game on the N64? It's like they could have, but it wasn't designed for that. It's more technology. And this is the thing with Nintendo as a whole. They don't really push the envelope for power. They are always lagging behind.
They used to.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That is a misconception about Nintendo. The Super Nintendo was the powerhouse of its generation. It was the strongest console for a long time.
That's
the
fine.
GameCube was the GameCube was the last time that Nintendo stopped being the most powerful console.
Yeah, the GameCube was basically was the GameCube or was it the Wii? I can't remember what it was like two GameCubes smashed together. Like that was the
It
Wii.
was the Wii.
The Wii.
The Wii, but
Basically, the Wii is just an overclocked.
But that's where they
GameCube.
stopped. But that's when they stopped
Right.
being
that's
conscious
also,
about it.
Oh, that's why the CDs are finally the right size.
Yeah, but the GameCube was the GameCube architecture was so ahead of its time to the point where PS3 and 360 ended up using the same architecture as the GameCube. Funny enough.
Yeah, the only downside was that they used these mini CDs.
Yeah, that was the stupid part about it.
That limited so much.
That damn near killed it if it wasn't for all the great games that was on it.
Yeah, so he's complaining about the cartridge loading times as compared to the cartridge load times on another different chipset, another different hardware stack.
And
yeah, but like
honestly,
we also have to like consider the fact that like Ocarina of Time was designed to be part of the N64 extension. So the fact that they had to like go back on that and like apply it to the standard N64 hardware and release it as this, because even like the NTSC version of Ocarina of Time has this FPS issue, which has been fixed slightly in Majora's Mask because of the extension, but oh god, like sometimes like it was like really slow.
And then completely overhauled for the 3DS versions of those games.
Yes, they completely wrote from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
There's something he doesn't mention, and barely anyone mentions. Ocarina of Time has no noticeable loading screens. It does not say loading anywhere between scene transitions, between warps or anything. It plays the little cutscene, like where you teleport away, or the time shift when you're in the Temple of Time, and that is already part of the loading process, so that the actual loading process doesn't take as long. So it's a very short, it's a surprisingly short interval from one scene to the next. And as a kid, you barely notice that there's any loading in this game. Contrary to Breath of the Wild, where you have an actual loading screen where it says loading now.
Yeah. And that the whole thing with the cartridge era was so prevalent that even later, I know it's a completely different console, completely different company, but later in the Metroid Prime series, they actually use like the room-to-room loading as a plot point where it's like the doors are so old that they take this long to open.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally like a lore point in the Prime series.
I love that. Even in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you had this one room which is loading a next level, and it showed the CD-ROM as the logo.
Oh yeah.
that was more
nice touch.
Well, that was more a tongue-in-cheek like nod at the medium more than anything.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, in this regard, I am glad Sony had a fallout with Nintendo, and they didn't have CDs for the N64 as was planned. And Nintendo had to revert back to cartridges because of that. I think it helped the N64 that it was still on cartridges.
It helped the industry in general that PlayStation struck out.
Yeah, but the PlayStation had these even in unbelievable loading times. It's because I tried out the consoles in the tech stores, and I thought like, I'm standing here now for 20 seconds. And it is still loading. This is bullshit.
Bruh, you think N64 has low RAM, 4 megs. PS2 had 2 megs.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm a kid. I'm on a gaming console in a tech store. And everybody's like, oh, PlayStation's this shit. It's the awesome shit. And I stand in front of that, wait half a minute, it's still loading. I feel like, yeah, it is shit. They're right, it is shit. It's not the shit, it is just shit. And go back to my N64 with its cartridge and barely noticeable loading times. Fuck you.
Yeah, but how am I gonna play Crash Bandicoot 2 on the N64 with? But come on.
Yeah, I understand. But Sony also messed up because what they put in the PS1 is a one-time speed ROM drive. And that is just while faster ones were already available.
Also, Mark, you joke about Crash Bandicoot, but you honestly gotta know the story of. You gotta look up the story of how they managed to make something like Crash work at all on the PS1. The technical wizardry that they had to do to pull it off.
I watched that. Like they hacked the memory unit of the
They straight
PS1.
up hacked the memory. It's like, dude, you've seen the Ars Technica interview with Andy Gavin, right? Yeah, it's like they literally hacked the system. They hacked the memory of the system to get Crash to work at all.
So technically, the game should not have been possible on the console.
Under normal circumstances, no.
Well, it was before they released the PS1, so they had like no idea how to properly program for the PS1. Of course, by the end of the era, they.
Oh no! Well, in general, yes, but in terms of Crash 1's development, they pretty much knew the specs right out of the gate. That's
Well,
part
they
of the whole
got like
story.
the toolkit, like the dev kit, like
Yeah, like the
official
main
one.
dev kit. Like by the time Crash was being developed, the main dev kit was already
Yes,
at
but
least
the
available to at
problem
least
is,
some people.
the problem is that like there were no PS1 games at the time because this was like way before the release of the official PS1. So it was like development hardware.
Well, it was out in Japan in '95, and Crash 1 was '96.
Was it? No.
And yeah, Ego Dreamer. I am a friend of console exclusives because it gave all the consoles their distinct place, their distinct audience, and distinct vibes, and all this different hardware forced developers to figure that hardware out to get the most out of it. You can't just port a game that is specifically made in this instance for the PS1 and just put it on another game and on another console. It's why these cross-platform releases today, where almost every game is on every platform imaginable, and Skyrim is a bit going bonkers with that. I expect it to be on toasters by next year. That's just and then why need consoles? Then it's all about the hardware, which is the most hardware intensive console. It's not about figuring out the absolute the maximum capacity, the magic of the console you're working with anymore.
Yeah, at this point, PS5 and Series X are so close to PC anyway. It's like PC ended up becoming the standard whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about people in general. It's like everyone, whether it's any kind of console players. Like PC is at least now the standard.
Yeah. What I expect from a console is specially balanced hardware that is that. Thereby, if you really balance your hardware, you can get much more performance out of it than if you just put in all the bleeding edge hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most people don't know. They just buy the better graphics card. Yeah, but you still have a shitty processor, and even if you buy a better one and a better mainboard, they're not rounded with your graphics card. There's a lot of details to go into, and the most extreme story of that I remember was from around 2003 or 4. Time where Ultima 9 wasn't old yet, and anyone who remembers that release everyone was making jokes that Ultima 9 was never going to run smoothly ever, because it was just so hardware intensive. And a friend of mine, his dad, he had paid, I don't know how much money, some 2,000 euros or something, for a PC that had, I'm sorry I can't give you the specs, but it had not state of the art hardware, which it surprised me how low some of the specs were. Like I don't want to lie. So it was just, I thought like, yeah, this is compared to modern gaming PCs of that year, a bread box. But that bloody computer was able to run Ultima 9 smoothly at 30 FPS. I was like, how? Because the hardware was balanced. That's all it's about.
All right.
And that's what a console is.
Criticizing Ocarina of Time on the internet. I'm gonna get crucified. Waiting is the bane of exploration. Why would I want to explore in a world where I gotta waste useless time just to check a fucking room? You should
So he's waiting for the platform to raise. He hates that. Dude, like, why do you hate that? You must hate...
That is a standard, a completely standard mechanic.
He must have hated every game on the N64. Like, Mario came out, oh my god, I have to wait for this bird to walk across so I can jump on his head. Like, oh, come on.
Oh, I gotta jump.
It's a platformer, dude. What a strange argument. Okay.
Ever hit that point where you're like, I'll check that room later.
Wait a second. This is the same argument we can make for like a Mega Man, like the original NES version. You have to wait for platforms to go up and down or left or right.
Oh no. Yeah, the original Mega Man. Oh god, that was such hell.
Jump and shoot, man.
Like what is?
He's also made a video. On Mega Man, by the way.
They
Mega Man.
showed the Mega Man video from Egoraptor at university in Houston.
Oh,
Really?
Yes, one of the teacher or professors did that. There's even an image of it. I think it was posted on the Discord. But wow,
Was it like how to not make a video?
I don't know. But supposedly that video is actually useful because it's like goes more into like the design of Mega Man, but it's
As opposed to this one,
a
where
bit
it's
questionable after this one.
as opposed to this one, where this one's just whining and complaining.
Yeah, I love complaining.
like every side scroll, like every single platforming game prior to Super Nintendo. It's like, wow, dude, waiting.
Well, there's like that section. Sorry to interrupt, but the Mega Man 2 Heatman. You have to wait for those random blocks to cross the path. Yeah, and you either go through Airman and beat him, so you get like the rush upgrade that like just gets you freely, or you just like learn the pattern and like jump.
You said Mega Man. You said Mega Man 2, right?
Yeah.
Mega Man 2, yeah. The fire level.
You just all you have to do is get Metal Man first and just own everything with the metal blades.
But the metal blades, yes, but like you need like the upgrade to like cross the path, and it's like a really long path, and if you like lose it and you fall, then it's insta death.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And checking rooms. I mean, you're exploring a world, right? And then they decide, hey, we're gonna streamline the dungeon process. Guess what? You enter a dungeon, halfway through, you get an item that helps you through the other half of the dungeon, and then you use that item on the boss to render it hittable. And then you hit it with a sword, typically in a pattern of 3 times.
What about this is streamlined?
Yeah, this is just basic, fundamental game design.
Yeah,
Zelda was doing that way before.
Ocarina. Yeah,
Zelda was doing that.
Past was doing that. You should have noticed.
Yeah.
You get the hammer. You use the hammer to get through the rest of the dungeon, and you kill. And you need it in order to be able to later damage and kill the boss. Oh no! What is he talking about?
Yeah, Link to the Past very clearly did this too.
I think he's learning words. He's just trying to use them in a sentence. He's like, streamlining. That's a good word. I'll use that.
A word of the day calendar.
3 times.
If you do enough damage, you can do it in 2 runs.
Yeah, if you jump attack, then you can even do it even faster.
Exactly. Jump attacking. Oh, that makes fights faster. That is true. Depending.
Do a jump attack. That's no, that doesn't roll.
Do a barrel.
Okay.
That part can vary. Ladies and gentlemen, please exit.
You needed 4?
Triforce shaped ice cream bars. Can you please tell me?
You loser needed 4. Oh.
What about this interesting if I know before I even finish the dungeon what the boss battle's gonna be? Oh, I got a slingshot. Maybe I hit some big glowing object with a slingshot. Oh, a mirror shield that lets me reflect light at stuff. Maybe the boss is gonna be a dude that I gotta reflect light at. Look, I know you can argue that this is actually good game design, but a game where I'm adventuring and I'm supposed to be excited about what's to come, it's kind of hard to wonder wide-eyed about something that's so predictable. It hurts.
But wasn't his argument like a minute ago that like he doesn't want to wait or like go too far to adventure? Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna know like that I have to use this item that I find in the dungeon, and that's terrible. But why?
I don't think he's listening to himself. And as I said, he's now complaining about. He's complaining about things that A Link to the Past does.
Yes.
But it's an Ocarina of Time, so it's bad. He's not just retarded. He's just vile. It's not just stupid. It's evil stupid.
Okay.
Ooh, jeez, arg! And this streamlining process in Ocarina is present even outside the dungeons. Every little piece of this game is just hopping over some roadblock that needs you to do some specific thing to make it to the next roadblock. It's a game about jumping through hoops. Superman 64. Hey man, there's a closed door. Find the eye symbol, hit it with a slingshot.
That's a low blow.
Hey, idiot! First, those weren't hoops. Secondly, that's optional. Bloody man.
Non-Superman.
Closed door. And a key. Another closed door. Press a button. Another closed door. Give this dude a letter from Impa. And again, look, there's some...
A Link to the Past did all these things.
Link's Awakening as well.
Cave in the ground isn't going to lead you through a complex catacomb with a mini-boss at the end. It just won't. It's not going to happen. You'll fall, you'll get a treasure chest, go da-da-da-da, and fucking leave. They would not sacrifice their precious formula for a little bit of fun. Link to the Past had a little bit more variety.
Wait.
Sometimes the item you get in a dungeon...
What is fun that he's wanting? What is he talking about?
The mini caves they also exist in these other games. And they're always only for minor things. And the generic cave in Ocarina of Time is more or less a supply cave. You can get water, you can get bugs, you can get some other small things, and there's usually a chest there. And a Sheikah stone that can give you a hint. Yes, they're all interchangeable, but there's several of them. And then there are a few select special caves. But here he's showing us, to contrast this, he's showing us a main dungeon from Link to the Past, not the special caves in the open world. This is a false equivalence.
Yeah, Link is getting the Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm pretty sure years upon years later in Breath of the Wild, I'm pretty sure the formula most definitely changed, and the game was still just as fun.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild definitely uses a different formula. Not just because of the dungeon parts, but that you start out with all the tools from the very beginning.
Yes, Breath of the Wild definitely changes the fundamental structure of Zelda.
And it's much less tools.
And it's a hell of a lot more fun.
I want my double hook shots back.
Maybe someday.
I mean, dude, double hook shots. It's not just one hook shot, it's double hook shot. So you can hook shot from one wall to another.
Yeah, you can become a hooker.
Twilight Princess did them better, let's be honest. Yeah.
All
right.
Twilight Princess had it and Skyward Sword, and then it's just gone.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Isn't even a weapon. Sometimes the boss can be defeated with just the fucking sword. Sometimes the boss needs to be
thing,
defeated with
Moldor.
an item from a dungeon 2 dungeons ago. There's one boss that you have to beat him with an item that you don't even get in a dungeon. It still felt like an adventure. Like you had this arsenal you've been collecting.
You don't
using
need those
it whenever
items.
it may be useful. And it may be useful anytime. You gotta be ready for that shit. Original Legend of Zelda had some dinosaurs. There's a dinosaur. So look at that dinosaur. There's a fucking dinosaur right there. It's this kind of misdirection of
So, on the bosses, I just want to say, you do not need these items to beat those bosses. They just make it easier because they do more damage. That's all. As I said, the Ice Cloud boss in the Ice Temple, you can also use the Fire Medallion, which you get through teleporting out of the Dark World at the right place. You get it for free. It uses up, I think, half your mana, and it instant kills the boss. Woohoo!
Yeah, true.
Or you can
all
just
the
use the
side
sword.
dungeons that aren't part of the main quest. It's up to you, how you explore the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you just use your sword and stabbies. Takes longer, but it works.
Stabby stab.
Yeah.
From the amount of hard containers he has, I'm assuming that he doesn't really explore that much.
Oh, and also calling everything a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Way to go there, bud.
He didn't like dinosaurs as a kid, as normal boys do.
He didn't like that Ocarina of Time, the first fucking level, references the first fight in Zelda 1. It has
What?
like the drawing of
What?
the Link defeating a dragon.
Oh, yeah. Like it's on the way on like the back of the tree or something that's there, right?
He got like a PTSD. I'm like, no, the dinosaurs.
No,
Was it
the
right-
Ice Age.
Wasn't right at the bottom of the ladder?
Yes,
No.
at the bottom of the ladder. Yeah.
Oh, at his house? I thought you meant at the actual Deku tree.
Link's. I think it's close to Link's house in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I think it's his house. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Oh my god.
What you should care about in Zelda that really bugs
This
me
character
about
is the
Ocarina.
villain of Ocarina
Like,
of
let's
Time.
take its story, for example. Ocarina's story provides you with a context to your quest. That accomplishing this will save this or change this, but it refuses to acknowledge the player's innate sense of wonder and drive to quest.
What?
It's storytelling.
What
How
is
the
it?
hell? It's...
The player's innate sense. What is he talking about?
Oh no, dialogue!
no
I need
idea.
to read.
I have no idea. Link didn't intend or ever thought about leaving the Kokiri forest. He was thrust into this adventure.
And
He was
one
forced into it. He was basically, it is almost, because he wasn't actually banished, but he was technically thrown out of the forest to go out and right whatever wrong is going on there.
Would
It's
you
a
argue-
classic start for an adventure game.
Would you say one can argue that he was thrust so much into it that at the end of it he paid the ultimate price for it?
Oh yeah, and Link is a scarred being at the end.
To the point where it's like,
in either way.
yeah, it's like to the point where it's like when it's in Twilight Princess. Like I was bound to bring this up eventually. It's like in Twilight Princess, the hero Shade, the guy that teaches you all the moves.
Yeah.
That's Ocarina of Time Link, and he dies regretting not being there when Ganon came back.
Yeah.
Why do you think he teaches you everything he knows?
Yeah, and then you don't actually need the skills he teaches you. I think that is real tragedy on top of everything. That's insult to injury.
No, well, some of those skills make the Dark Nuts especially much easier to bring that up from yesterday.
Yeah, but generally, it's not really. Twilight Princess has this wonderful moveset for Link, but it doesn't exploit it. The game doesn't throw you enough
It's
challenges
optional.
where you can really. I mean, you can easily forget what the half the skills you learned. You can easily forget throughout the game.
They're ultimately
That you even
optional,
have
yeah.
them.
Well, the problem I have
Yeah.
is his description of what he actually wants is very whimsy-daisical. It's not actually accurate. Like, he wants X.
Mhm.
It's like, I want vanilla ice cream. Oh, it didn't have vanilla ice cream. I gotcha. He's like, I want some super tasty ice cream flavor. It's not there. It's like, what are you talking about? Which one? What flavor are you after, sir? Like, he's not describing himself in a concrete way.
Yeah.
And I agree with Drunken Mumble. He seems to hate story. See, this is the thing that he most praised the first Zelda game for, and that was
Even though
you
that
thrust
game-
in and you don't know what to do. You just run around and stab.
Even
things.
though that game has story, you just gotta look for it.
Yeah, it's just not that obvious.
Mhm.
The thing here is this blindness is taken away from him, where you can just run around and stab things randomly. He just wants this blind adventure. Okay, go play roguelites. That's where you get them.
I mean, I don't know. He did play Dark Souls, and he sucked at that too.
Yeah, I mean, the Zelda games constantly developed on this. He's never played Link's Awakening, apparently, because that game is full of story everywhere. There's so much dialogue in that story.
But you don't tell him that.
All right, let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Even the
Do you wanna
bosses,
fight
you have.
bosses?
Oh, right. The bosses, even some of the later bosses in Link's Awakening will tell you that as you kill them, you're bringing doom upon the island. You, the hero, you are the one destroying the island by killing the bosses.
Yeah, because your ultimate goal is to get the windfish to wake up, which in turn will destroy the island.
Yeah, because it's just his dream.
Yeah, and it's like you're told that the windfish is the one that can get you home, but the windfish is the one that's making this world real. So what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it is a really tragic game overall, and there's so much, and there is a lot going on. There are characters moving around. Maren has dreams. Then you have these little side quests where you get to know other characters, and there's so much going on in Link's Awakening.
And
Sky apparently never played it,
which is why I'm very grateful that reveal was left in the impact of that reveal was left intact for the remake. Thank God.
They took but they took out the mermaid quest, so fuck that.
Well, that's just a side quest. Let's be honest. I mean, you can still get the boomerang. They didn't take that out.
Yeah, but look, the thing is, they censored that out because this is a risky thing. This is misogynistic. We want to teach the kids the bad things. Like, this is an innocuous joke. A 6-year-old kid that plays that doesn't even understand what is lewd about that. And anyone old enough to understand it is likely not gonna be inspired to actually try this.
I mean, it was censored even back then, so...
I don't think it was in the German version.
Well, not in the German, but I mean, for us in America, even as far back as the American release of the Game Boy version, it's like, it was a necklace back then, too, for us.
Yes, it was a necklace for you?
Yeah,
for us, it was a bikini top. We had the actual bikini top.
Exactly. It's like, that's why she only peeks her head out when you meet her.
Yeah. And she gets
but for us it was...
I think it's either it's always or after you got the bikini top from her. When you dive next to her, she gets really pissy.
Yeah. Yeah, but for at least for the American release, it was always a necklace.
Okay.
All right.
Fucking proof.
So yeah, let's keep going.
They want to be rewarded efforts. They want to enter a dungeon, see what's inside, and succeed against enemies. But you gotta put that feeling aside. There are more important matters at hand. The Sheikahs or the Hylians or whatever. Save the Hylians. Gorons don't have rocks to eat. That's why you got a quest. Gorons gotta eat. The fuck are the...
Oh, that's really stupid. He's going to argue that like they eat rocks, but like he ignores the dialogue that's in front of him. That they have gone so bored of eating rocks that they only go for the very delicious ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they are unable to eat like every rock.
Yeah, that is a joke that is brought up many times by the fandom. Is the fact that the whole joke is that they eat rocks, but the thing blocking the path to the cavern is a boulder. I'm just like, no, it's not that simple.
Yeah, the game itself is explaining why they can't do that. But
yeah, I mean,
the rocks
showing
they eat
the
are
dialogue, and he doesn't understand.
It's imagine you need food, and that's the cave with the delicious superfood, like the food, but the entrance is blocked by moldy meat.
Oh, that's what that is.
Do you want to eat the moldy meat?
Is it actually? It's not a boulder?
It is a boulder, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait a minute. No, it is a boulder. It's like the point of the joke is like, no, people don't realize is that the rocks they eat are higher quality. They don't just eat shit off the ground.
Ganondorf was just the big meanie head, so he blocked it.
Yeah, they eat like they.
Starved.
Yeah, the rocks the Gorons eat are like closer to like refined like minerals and ore. They don't just eat rock. They don't just eat rocks off the floor.
Yeah, I mean that's why they have special mining operations for that.
Especially in Twilight Princess, which straight up shows the operation. At least the equipment they show. But anyway, let's keep going.
Gorons! I don't even care! And then what we're left with is what feels like a formality. Dungeons with doors that need to be opened, bosses that are beaten in the same fucking manner every time. I think the idea that you're told you're a hero saving a kingdom is at least somewhat unnecessary. When it's an order delivered...
I don't know what you did, but I hit Volvagia with the giant Goron hammer. Because it was fun. 82 tons more damage with it, by the way.
Okay.
Until you get the big Goron sword, which is the best weapon in the game.
Yeah, I know.
And I always go for that. You always go for that thing. The first thing you do when you go into the future. Get the horse so you can get the sword.
It essentially breaks the game. It also breaks the AI of Shadow Link. He doesn't know what to do when you have that thing.
Well, the only thing it breaks is that he doesn't. When you stab with the big sword, he doesn't stand on it because that's only programmed for the Master Sword. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
By the game becomes a task. It's like a job. The message should be in that, as a player, your idea of fun ends up making you a hero. Fighting monsters is what you live for and isn't what, say, this fucking guy lives for. Why aren't all these other dudes going out and fighting monsters and questing? Because they're not heroes. They don't find it fun. But you, the player, find it fun. You find...
No. You find senseless hacking and slashing fun. You. It becomes an adventure through context of why you do it. And why this cave is important, and why you go through it, and why you explore it. And not just the, more enemies. Then go play Diablo 2. Go play Diablo. That's what you want. You just want senseless mashing of monsters.
Also, Link never, not once in any game, makes the conscious decision to be the hero. Someone else always tells him what's up, and then he just
into the adventure somehow.
Someone always pushes him into the adventure, and he just accepts it.
Link.
To various degrees, depending on the Link we're talking about. Some of them are fine with it. Others, like Ocarina, die with regret still in them. Others is like whatever.
I mean, the Ocarina of Time Link is the only one whose future we know after the adventure.
That is true, yes. It's like that is, yeah. It's like it's not so much that there's always someone that tells him that, hey, you got to be the hero. You got to go out and do this shit. The question is the real thing different between all the Links that have that situation on them is how they react to it.
Yeah. In I don't know what it is in 2. So in 1 you're thrown into it. In 2, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I have to admit I haven't played it.
I think 2 it's Impa goes to Teenage Link and tells him what's going on.
Mm-hmm. In 3 it's his uncle that Link goes first follows, and then the adventure unfolds as he first saves the princess the first time, gets to the cathedral, and then everything just spirals further out of control.
And then between Zelda and Zahasrara, they both tell Link what he has to do.
Yeah, and then with Zelda 4, Link's Awakening, you're thrown onto the island. Okay, you explore the island. How do you get off the island? Because you can't.
Yeah, the owl tells you.
The thing is, Link cannot leave the island unless he awakens the windfish. So he has to make the conscious decision between destroying the island to get back to Hyrule or wherever, or live his days out on the island in the windfish's dream.
Yeah, and that's part of the reveal of that game. It's like the only way to leave the island is to destroy it, and that's part of the sad part of that twist.
Yeah, in Ocarina of Time, he's pushed into the adventure by Navi and the Deku Tree, and then it unfolds again as he finds Zelda.
And what's worse is that in Ocarina, he's very deliberately an orphan.
Yeah. And in Majora's Mask, his horse is stolen. He's already lost his fairy friend, so he lost 2 of his best friends. And in the beginning, and is thrown into another world where he is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Has to find a way out. So what comes after I can't recall the Oracle of Seasons and Ages. How he was thrown into those.
that one depending on which one you start with, because they're meant to be played one after the other. Like depending on which one and in both, whichever one you start with, Link just goes out of it, takes the initiative and checks on the Triforce, which is all together, and then Triforce just sends him to either one world or the other, and then he gets the exposition from his new friend in that world who gets kidnapped, and then he's told what the villain is doing, and then he has to go stop them.
And then we get to Twilight Princess, which is Wind Waker first, where he's thrown into the adventure through pirates and other nonsense, and by his grandma who gives him the hero's clothes and all of this nonsense. He's thrown into the adventure. It's the traditional passing of age rite turns into the actual adventure where he becomes the hero whose clothes he's wearing.
That game, more than any other, he's very specifically thrust into it without any say from him.
In Twilight Princess, he has to leave his home village. I forgot why exactly.
They were supposed to deliver something to Princess Zelda.
They were supposed to make a peace offering to the royal family, which was the first sword you get.
Okay. And then the whole
but then everything changed.
Incarceration wolf thing happened,
but then everything changed when the Twilight attacked.
The furries.
But in that one it was a bit more of a conscious decision, because he was only told what happened. It's like, he was given the clothes and he was given like the mission, but there he just made the conscious decision to go through with it.
Yeah, Skyward Sword was the same. Was the thing again about you live up here in this nice place. Oh, Zelda gets kidnapped. Now we have to rescue her.
Oh, and that one especially, that Link made the conscious choice to go along with it just for the sake of rescuing her more than anything.
Yeah, and it even turns out that Hylia, through Zelda, it even explains to Link that she's sorry that all of this is a setup. It's all made. All these trials are set up in advance because she's the goddess of time, so she knows what's going to happen.
It's preordained.
It's all preordained that Link, I'm sorry I manipulated you, but it has to be done. This is a war. Because this is a war. And I have made you want to pursue it. And that's why I keep training you with all these trials.
All right.
I am forced. The goddess of time, am making things happen in a way that forces you into the adventure.
Here is Stephen Alvarez. Thanks for the 5. Wasn't the story of Disney's Hercules that just killing monsters isn't what makes you a hero? Well,
exactly.
That was part of the question of what makes Hercules a hero, and we find out at the end. It's kind of like what matters to him. What does sacrifice mean? What does being a hero mean? And it wasn't necessarily, I don't think, about love, even though that's what ended up being the result of making him a hero.
It's more so selflessness.
Yeah, it's giving yourself to whatever the problem is. So
and that's the what is the killing monsters all the time. That doesn't make you a hero. That makes you a warrior.
Yeah,
it's the why that makes you a hero.
If the problem is that the monsters are destroying a village and no one can stop them, and you can do so, that makes you a hero. Not because there's 1,000 monsters, but because the consequences of not doing it kills everyone. So
because it's the right thing to do.
You want to do the right thing. You want to prevent tragedy, and that's what Hercules. I think Hercules saves. I can't remember his name of his girlfriend, but he helps her and saves her.
Meg.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Megara.
Okay, Megara. There you go. So yeah, he learns that sacrifice is the thing that makes you a hero, not necessarily what you have to do, but what you give up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And as a result, he ended up regaining godhood, albeit for a little bit, because he decided to stay in the world of the mortals.
Right. Okay. 21 minutes, doing okay.
Killing monsters fun. Ridding the world of evil things fun. That makes you a hero. Not the dialogue, not the story. A book can tell you the main character's a hero with dialogue. A movie can too. But in a game you can feel it. You can experience it firsthand. You don't need
that's not-
dialogue. Why was the inclusion
more
of
to
so
it than
many
that.
semantics necessary? And I don't buy the argument that they're only there to richen the world with story, because adding those contexts to
are.
the situation is devaluing design
Get the fuck out of here,
The
they
game
are.
literally stops for you to complete some asinine story task. Look, you go to Kakariko
Asinine?
Village. You go to the entrance of Death Mountain. Dude won't let you pass. You go, what the fuck, man? I want to go up there. That's what I want to do. But no, you have to wait for the game to tell you why you want to go up there. You know why you want to go up there. You want to fight some dudes, fight a boss, get a cool weapon. But no, you gotta go talk to Zelda. Oh, the world is
It's that's both story and technical limitations.
Yeah, this is a story game.
So he doesn't
After
like
all-
the fact that there are doors that you can't open, whether the door has a
doesn't-
guard or a lock.
He just
He doesn't like doing things in order, I guess.
yeah, the same
he
with
doesn't. It's not about order. He just wants to senselessly bash things
yeah, it's
and open chests. That's all he wants. He wants a procedurally generated random world and endlessly. That's what he wants.
But this also applies to the very first level of Link to the Past. I want to go to the north or like any other direction other than the castle, but like they won't let me. Egoraptor, why is this happening in the
Yeah,
best
Link
game
to the
ever?
Past. Link to the Past does this too, yo. Fuck nut.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
The gods tell me that like you should go home.
yeah. There's all these invisible walls. There's all these mountains you can't pass. There's all these things like chairs in the way. Why can't I jump over this object? It's in my way because you need a hammer to pass. Like basic stuff.
Yeah,
What
Link to the Past is. Yeah, the Link to the Past is nowhere near as open as he thinks it is. It's open, but it's not Dark Souls, my dude.
What a strange take. This is the worst one I've probably heard. A guard is stopping me from entering an area. It's like, yeah, that was in the first level of
That was the only one god that blocks you from exploring that. Like needs an item to let you through.
Yeah, I remember in the Super Nintendo, you had to go home. Like, you couldn't go anywhere else. You had to go. Then you had to go to the castle. You couldn't go anywhere else. It's like, okay, guess I'm going to the castle. Like it shoehorns you into that area, like many games do. And there's invisible
Storytelling.
Yeah, invisible walls. There's guards. There's blocked doors. There's all kinds of ways of doing that, so that it opens up later. This is This is no different than the Metroidvania style of game. It's only with narrative. He doesn't like talking to someone who says no, you can't go because I said so.
Even Metroid does this shit right, my dude. Except Other M. Screw that game.
Here is JS. Thanks, JS, for the one. In tabletop gaming, a player character who just wants to go around killing everyone is referred to as a murder hobo. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes that's fun.
That
though.
one.
That's fun to do.
Yeah.
In my case, I was murdering people for food, but that's different. Yeah.
Also, ugly as fuck drawing right here.
It's on purpose.
Yeah.
I know, it's still ugly.
All right.
Going on.
And then Imp is like, hey, this is really important, so I'm gonna give you this note to give to this guy. I don't care. Nobody cares. You seriously just made me waste my time. Press A a bunch of times.
Nobody cares,
so that I
but
can
like
go
it's
up there.
regarded
There's
so
like a
highly.
fucking- There's a tiny
Link to the
wall
Past
standing
does this
between me.
too.
I can climb
Yeah,
over it.
fuck
I'm an
not.
agile kid. I can climb the shit out of that. I climb vines all the time. No big deal. Purposely misinforming the player about why they should care about what they're doing displaces their value.
They're not-
And it creates
they're-
a you
it's
can't
not
tell me what to
misinforming.
do attitude towards the game. And that's the last thing you want a game to do. You don't want a game to nag at you, especially in a game with
not
an open
nagging.
world. Just look at how many
It's not
fucking
an open
people
world
hate
either.
Navi and Fee. All they do is nag and tell you what to do. Who the fuck wants to be told what to do? Am I in a cubicle? Am I sitting in a cubicle playing a Zelda?
You are literally mentally 3 years old.
Indeed.
How do you have a job?
Well, he doesn't have a job. He used to work for
It's a-
GameStop, and then he decided to make YouTube videos.
His job is playing games and sucking at them.
He used to work at GameStop and then he jumped
Yeah.
into animation.
Yes.
That's his career
Yes.
path in life.
That,
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
but it is
He
technically a
didn't
job.
finish
It's just a
school
weird
as
one.
well, I believe.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but
God.
how do you make money? How does it come that you do make money?
Game
Well,
Grumps.
like he had like a really good talent for like these comedic flash animations. I have to say that. Like he was the most popular creator on Newgrounds. That was a thing, but
And it all went to waste.
it all went to waste. Like he didn't utilize on that anymore. He decided to move on, and like none of that transitioned too well, because like he had to like talk about games, and people realized that like he doesn't have too much to say that those subjects.
Going on.
Pretty sad. Anyway, yeah.
That's why I think the Master Sword is brilliant, particularly in Link to the Past, because it's talked about in literal terms. It's a sword that will make you more powerful and defeat.
It's talked about in literal terms, as opposed to unliteral terms. What are you talking about?
So when like the characters in Ocarina of Time talk about the Triforce and like why it's important that like Ganondorf doesn't get the hold of that thing, it's not literal enough for him.
Like, what does he want? Like metaphor? Like, is everything a metaphor? But no. And Link, it's literal terms. It's like, yeah, sure.
Evil. That's what it actually does for you, the player. There's no bullshit about avenging your mother or saving a village from persecution or giving Gorons rocks. There's rocks everywhere. What is wrong with you? Your whole town is made of rocks and you're starving?
Yeah.
The Master Sword is
They
just...
don't need regular ass rocks.
Contrary to you, the Gorons actually have taste.
Yes.
Yeah, and like he just showed the dialogue for that. I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah, it's like, why do you think when? I mean, I assume I assume at least one of you guys is familiar with the channel Terminal Montage, like the something about videos, the animations.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. His Ocarina of Time video actually brought up that little gag, but unlike this video, Terminal Montage actually made it funny.
Yeah.
Even though it's dead wrong, and the game proves it, it's still funny.
Yeah.
Just the Sword of Eden. Fucking awesome. How exciting is that? A new awesome sword. Count me the fuck in. And don't get me wrong.
You
So
wanted to kill the cute animals.
So there's no weapons or new cool, awesome tools in 3D Zeldas?
Yes, there is. I literally just mentioned the big Goron sword earlier, which is even better.
What is he talking about?
And like that quest is no hand holding at all. Like that is like one fucking complex quest to do.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you got-
Get the Goron
yeah.
sword.
Yeah, when you oh, you mean the big sword? Yeah, it's like
Yes.
just one. Yeah, it's one giant. It's a trading quest too, so you got to trade item after item after item, and a couple of them have time limits, so you got to be quick about it. That's all on your own, and you can't fast travel, or else you're fucked.
Yes.
Yeah. Alternatively, you can buy a lower quality big sword, and it will
Which is
break
even
after a
stronger.
couple of uses.
But it's even stronger actually.
Oh, it is.
It is even stronger. That's the draw. Why do you think the sword breaking is a drawback? Because it's even stronger.
I don't know. I just got frustrated because it broke, and then I thought, this is stupid.
But it is stronger though. I do remember that one detail.
All right, here's Wide and Nerdy. Thank you for the 10. An Egoraptor's example of the archetypical standard. The first game had a story. Okay, most of it was printed in the manual because it wouldn't fit on the NES cartridge, not because it wanted no story. Yeah, that was many of the problems with the Nintendo. You barely
many
had,
games did that.
Yeah, you barely had not even a page of dialogue. It was like maybe a sentence, maybe two sentences, like in the original Final Fantasy. This little dialogue prompt would pop up, or in Dragon Quest, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking to people, you select talk. You get a little dialogue box pops up, and you get a little sentence or two. That's about it. that's as complicated as the interactions were. So you had to tell the story about going here and why and who and what. And yeah, you couldn't do that much.
Lots of games back in the 90s and still 2000s had story background and world building in their manuals.
Yep.
And my favorites of those are Lands of Lore 2, which had half the book was like, I don't know, 20 pages of 40, where just talking about random things in the world. Diablo did that. The first Diablo game, it had tons of lore in it.
Yeah.
StarCraft had that.
I remember Myst. Myst was big on that too. But
oh yeah, and my absolute favorite in that regard did it a bit differently, because Lands of Lore 2 it talked about minor things on the side in that you would never come across in the game, that it fleshed out there. And my absolute favorite was the manual to the first Homeworld game. It was a massive book, and it was well lettered. It had great design, and I don't remember. It was a really thick book, and so much of it was story in small print. I just, before I played the game, I read this. I had a book to read, and not because I had to. I could have just played the game. No, I found it so interesting. This was real science fiction. And this is something that is lost today, because everything's just digital only.
yeah.
No one makes these wonderful manuals with backstory anymore.
Well, thankfully, we are getting a Homeworld. I think, is it part 3 or part 4? I can't remember which it's up to.
It would be Homeworld 3, but after 2, I'm gonna be apprehensive about that.
What was the
Well,
one
Deserts of Carrick was really good.
Yeah.
That was the prequel.
Yeah, that was what I was like. Oh, is that a third game, or I can't remember what number they're in. But
Yeah, if you like ground-based RTS, Deserts of Carrick, I'd say, is a hidden gem. It has so much. It has great feeling. It's all desert, so it's all the same tile set, but it gets the feeling of desert right.
yeah, I know, because I remember playing Dune 2, Dune 2000. Like that's the sort of vibe I got, but it felt Dune. It felt very different, like very futuristic. And
As in the movie?
the book, the movie, yeah.
The original book. Yeah, you're right.
The first RTS ever made was Dune.
Yeah, Dune 2.
Yeah, and it had because the first one was a story game, and Dune 2 was the first RTS ever made by Westwood.
Yeah.
It didn't even have the what do you call it, the frame you draw to select multiple units.
Yeah, one at a time.
The game couldn't do that yet. You had to click on every unit and tell it scroll over to where you wanted it to go, and click on the target location or enemy.
And by the time you got there, and there wasn't no attack move, it was just move. you
didn't even have like the multi-select for your units at that point?
Nope,
wow.
Didn't exist yet. That was a development for the next RTS that would come out.
Yeah, it was such a I remember buying that game as a kid. I remember installing it. I remember playing it. It was so good. It was, everything was easy, and like the cutscenes were just little bits of art. Little shot here and there, guy wielding a gun. Oh, it's a Sardaukar. Oh, great. And such amazing fun. But it took a while to play because you had one at a time. And by the time you got to the end of the map, either got destroyed or a sandworm popped up and ate you. So
yeah, and with Deserts of Carrick, it's the vastness of the desert, and the pressure of the sun is I don't know how they catch the atmosphere, but it's the game makes you understand how hot it is. Somehow it translates that visually. It gets the sand trails right that units leave as they drive around the desert, and the battle system is the unit system. It's such a variety of units in your army. With they use the carrier tech that they also have in Homeworld. Like you have your main unit. It's a giant land carrier.
That's great.
So imagine an aircraft carrier, but it's a giant vehicle on land that's slowly crawling through the desert. There are several weapon systems that you can upgrade, and that builds your units, your tanks, and whatever. And your reconnaissance units and harvesters. And it also has an airfield on top where it launches fighters and bombers and all of that stuff. And it's a wonderfully dynamic gameplay that makes use of the terrain differences. All the units have special abilities. With even the first units you have, they are very, very useful because their special ability is to throw out the visual blocking smoke grenades that you can use either as a shield to get away or as a diversion or whatever you need it for. It's the factions are playing all very differently, and the best thing this game has done, and that no other game has ever done that well, is the banter between the units. It feels to communicate because all throughout the game, the units you have are communicating with each other, like little comm messages, and it feels completely natural. There are some little dialogue scenes that can happen where they call back and forth. Someone has some electronic issue, and car's overheating, or they give you intel on. When they see enemies, and it's not the big one, enemy sighted. It's just between this banter, this random banter, there's one unit going to tell you that there's something fuzzy on the screen, and it feels real.
It feels smart. It was really well put together. It could have been a lot bigger, but you realize that okay, this is probably not the biggest production, but they put a lot of heart into those games, especially Homeworld, the original. And they're so memorable when you look at what they tried to do. So no, these are great games. I mean, I'm glad it went to Fig, and they made their own thing. I just don't know how long it's going to take to come out. They said December of next year, but it's going to get pushed back for sure. There's no way it's going to come out. So, anyway, great fun games. Let's keep going.
I've just never cared about strategy games in general.
Walk and talk is flawed, but having to trigger the ability to explore by walking and talking, it's annoying. It's like your mom. You can't have dessert.
Oh, this is just dumb. Come on.
To eat your peas. Can't explore the dungeon till you play Saria's song for Goron. There are ways to involve characters in a story and not have them be utterly boring and detached from what you're doing.
It's not
Why not
boring.
Have a Goron that helps you fight? Goes blows shit up while you're doing stuff. Why not have the Goron stay healthy by eating rocks and they're slowly...
You are asking for something way too ambitious for the time.
Yeah, and again, all he wants is to run around and bash things.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. By the way, the how to open the dungeon is a puzzle.
It's the equivalent.
It's a story puzzle.
It's the equivalent of what he was arguing for the big chest. Oh, I got the key. Now I can walking to the door to open with this key so I can get to wherever I wanted to go is exciting. Is the payoff is all I need. It's like, yes, that is how it works in video games. You have a barrier you can't pass until you find the key or the tool or the item or whatever.
In Link's Awakening, you also need to open the dungeons by finding the key for the respective dungeon to open the dungeon, to get in. That in itself is a quest.
Yeah, but he doesn't like it
puzzle.
Because it's dialogue based. You have to talk to someone and figure out why. It's like that helps you figure out how to get past there. It tells you what you need to do. You have to go get Zelda's permission to get past this gateway because no one's allowed. It's like, oh, now I should go talk to Zelda and figure. Like, this is basic shit, and he's complaining because the cart is bigger. You could put more stuff on it. That dialogue exists. And because someone is talking you, barring you from entry. It's like, what? Talking is bad? No.
I'm sure if they would have added like a Goron companion to Link, the game would have been so much better.
The Goron just kills all your enemies. You don't do anything. That'd be so much better. Yeah. Oh.
I mean, maybe given how Zelda evolved recently, how it's being designed more recently,
Yeah, but-
maybe they might do this eventually.
I know, but look at
But not for the N64. Heck no.
look at a game like Symphony of the Night where it's fun to go around and just blow away everything. If you had like your familiar that would do that for you, that'd be kind of boring. It would be kind of like, why am I playing this game?
Yeah, why are you
can't-
playing
I mean,
this
the sword can. You just gotta
It
wait
takes
a
time. He's
godly
kind
amount of time.
They're all well. The imp is kind of quick, but the sword is slow. Like he sort of takes his time. He does a flip.
Yeah.
and
It's not even just slow. He's a complete dumbass at low
Yeah.
levels.
It's kind of funny. So you want to keep the gameplay within the player doing all the cool stuff, getting all the cool items, exploring and defeating all the cool enemies.
Yeah.
So
This is a mechanic, more or less. Not with you running around with companions, but something like rebuilding these forward outposts in Breath of the Wild, where soldiers defend against attacking bokoblins. That just happens in as you come across. Maybe there would have been too much ambition for the game, as they were making it. That's something that could have added some life to it and more of this you affect the world in retaking Hyrule, and not just having Terrytown that you're building for the better shops. Terrytown's a fun thing, but it's just the only place you really affect in the game.
I'm trying to think of arguments that people have made about games which are dialogue heavy, like with Mass Effect. Like in the first game, it's just enough. Like there's obviously problems with the Paragon and Renegade system, but it's just enough for you to understand what's going on, how dialogues are solved. And it's very binary. You either choose one or the other. But when you get to the third game, the dialogue is just so watered down and the options are just so exhausted that they don't even bother with the system at times. It's always just top or bottom choice. There's no other option. And that is a good point to complain about, because we have two other games to compare of what they were trying to do and what things were supposed to amount to. And it's the equivalent of him. Well, it's not the equivalent anymore because you have a game in a series, whereas Zeldas are all independent. They're all their own creation. There's no story continuity outside of reference. It's like, oh, this happened in the past or whatever. So you don't need to worry about continuity with story or lore that much.
It's something that is most roughly implied that you can stitch together yourself, whether that makes any sense or not. Yeah,
and he's only focusing on the main mechanic, which is exploration, and saying, why can't I go there? And then he's complaining. But then he complains about combat as soon as he gets there, wherever he wants to go. It's a bizarre... it's this bizarre idea of the game I like to a degree, and then I hate because it doesn't do exactly what I want. When every game was designed the same way, with barriers and doors and clues and visual cues and all these other things. It works well with 2D, but not 3D. Like, what? That's like complaining that controls in Mario 3D or Super Mario 64 was, the analog stick was not. It's not the same as the digital one I'm used to. It's like, what? What's a new interface? I think he's just saying random things, whether he believes them or not. Maybe I thought of that, but I think he's really has a hate boner for N64. And that's why he makes up random shit. That could be it. And makes and complains about things that Link of the Past does as well. I know. Yeah, it's funny. It's just the same arguments. We're like, yeah, you just praised it 2 seconds ago. Why are you now bashing on 3D version? Oh, loading times. Oh, it's a bigger game. What do you want?
Becoming progress through the dungeon, and he's on the verge of fatigue. Shit! Don't you want to get him some rocks to stay the hell alive? Let's keep moving so my friend can live. Missions are shit. I'm a video game player. I care about slashing things, finding things, having an adventure, not wandering around until I pressed A at all the right... No, you are not a video game player. You just want to hack and slash. You want to play Diablo. He just described adventuring. I have to go everywhere and press... It's like, that's what adventuring is in these games. You go everywhere and press everything.
Yeah, he admitted he just wants to play hack and slash games. Then go and play hack and slash games.
Yeah.
Go play Diablo. That's the game you want to play. Play Torchlight. That's the game you want to play. Play Hades. Oh no, wait, Hades probably has too much dialogue.
Yeah, that's right. Too many characters and animations and pauses and waiting for attack moves, and you can't just wail on something. You have to like think it through.
Bastion might work because he doesn't have to read.
You have to use
The
your
narrative
brain.
It's just rambling in the background, and he can just keep on walking through forward and just kill things.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, he's an uncultured dumb idiot.
For whatever story reason, it's like the longest page turn ever. Imagine you had to walk across your house back and forth 3 times before you could turn the page in a book you're reading. Gosh!
So I guess he'd really hate playing Mass Effect because every time you walk really far, you have to listen to like 2 people talk for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I think he made a video
works like
on the Mass Effect 3 ending when it came out.
Oh my god.
That's not.
Next
Hyrule
thing to
Field
cover.
works like an intermission in the game. It has the adventurous music, but it also has a certain sense of calm to it.
Yeah, I can't imagine him just wanting constant action and adventure. Like, dude, do you want to like chill for 2 seconds?
No, just wants constant button mashing, monsters without end. Play Diablo 1 for fuck's sake.
Yeah, even Metal Gear was a lot of waiting and snooping around and hiding and running back to hide. And
But he hates Metal Gear too, so
he hates. How could you hate Metal? What is wrong
like
with this?
when he made the joke that he doesn't know what to do with the boss. That wasn't the joke. Like that actually happened to him.
Well,
Like,
depending
he didn't
on
know
which
that
boss
he
was
had
it.
to look for the number, like how to beat Psycho Mantis.
Because he never bothered to listen to the codec calls.
He never bothered to listen to the calls. He never bothered to. Well, it's pretty much like a DSP situation. I think like he has a very similar approach. To
He
the
just
end.
wanted to
guy-
stab.
What's the point of playing a game if you're not going to enjoy it? Like, what's
This is the kind of guy who, in that you play together in World of Warcraft, and he never reads not even the quest text of the story. He doesn't even read the summary of it, and then he keeps asking people in chat what he's supposed to do about the quest that he's not reading.
He's Leroy Jenkins, essentially.
Leroy Jenkins.
That's literally, it was that, well, hey, reminder, that literally came from World of Warcraft, a group that was going to do like a hard quest.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins just literally went ahead and did it on his own and died like a champ.
And I'm sorry to burst that bubble if you didn't get the memo yet, but it was staged, sadly.
But it was still kind of funny. The meme
It
lives
was
on.
one of the best memes ever made.
It's funny. It's the meme. It's still funny.
Yeah, you just shouldn't use it anymore because people are using it in cringe ways where they try to seem nerdy by invoking Leroy Jenkins, and you're a bit late on that.
There was
Dude.
the CW
Bruh.
show where they referenced Leroy Jenkins.
Please
Oh,
don't
God.
tell me. Please, that better not have been an Arrowverse show. Please,
It was the Arrowverse because it was the
was it? Which show?
Crisis.
well, there was
story.
a reference to
In
Skyrim.
Crisis?
Wow, man,
Yeah.
you're more than
No.
a decade too
Skyrim
late
makes
for
more
that.
sense.
Yeah, well,
Skyrim makes more
it's very
sense.
popular around the world, but it was an episode of NCIS. I remember that.
Yeah, but the Arrowverse literally referenced Leroy Jenkins. I'm just like, what the hell?
Man, you're almost 15 years too late to make this joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wait, me or Aaron?
No, it's the CW.
Yeah, the CW is fun.
I'm just like, what business does
Okay,
the
I'm
Arrowverse
sorry,
have
it's
to make that
Supergirl,
reference?
but I got the clip.
Well, Supergirl kind of sucks to begin with, so whatever.
All right. Anyway.
You
Isn't
can
that
look at women.
stupid? Wouldn't that be retarded? That's what you're fucking doing in video games.
You're
Things just need to be
retarded.
simple. And what I mean by that is, Link to the Past added a story to make everything a little more epic. And since it was the same kind of game as the first, the game needed those tropes to come back. All those enemies and elements, while adding new ones too. But with that, a formula was born.
It's doing... Ocarina of Time is exactly that. It's building on the Zelda formula while introducing new elements to the game. The fact is that like they entirely changed the gameplay because
The 3D
it's a
transition
to the 3D realm. So it's going to be very different from the Link to the Past, of course.
Yeah, this one even more so, yeah.
The other thing is that like there were not a single 3D Zelda before this. So this was like the prototype for the upcoming ones. And
Pretty much.
I do hold the opinion that like Majora's Mask is a way better game. At least I don't think that like Ocarina is bad. I do enjoy it, but like I have so much more enjoyment with Majora's Mask. I feel like the aspects of like what 3D Zelda should be like on the N64 were way better ironed out on the Majora's Mask.
It true.
Well, it added a lot more things in regards to gameplay with the whole mini quest system.
Yeah, and it wasn't lagging for me.
And
that was a major
the
thing.
general and the general level design was better.
Yes.
Mind you, they only had a year to make it because it's like they had to push out a new game. I think, or either they had to or they wanted to. They had wanted to push out a new game, but they were only given 1 year, and they had to reuse the Ocarina of Time assets. Otherwise, it would be canceled.
Yes, they had that. Yes, indeed.
1 year, and they had to reuse the assets. Otherwise, no sequel.
Yeah, but for that constraint, they made a masterpiece.
In
I wouldn't say
fact, the
masterpiece,
creator
but
of
it's
Majora's Mask doesn't even recognize it. Like he thinks it was flawed, so he fixed a bunch of things. Supposedly fixed a bunch of things in the 3DS release, which
I don't see a damn
removed
difference.
puzzles and other things.
I don't see a damn. Everything's pretty much there. I don't see a fucking difference.
There was a
They reduced Malon's book
violation of
size.
like those.
I mean, I
changes.
can understand. I can understand changing certain things for the water dungeon because for those first two games, the water dungeon was tedious.
You can
Not-
no longer like have the. I think like there was like a way to like swim really fast, and I think it's bound to your magic meter now.
No, well, now. But
The other
at
one
least-
is that the boss fights now you can attack the boss in any kind of way.
I mean, it gives more variety to how you want to do things. And at least in Ocarina, like I said in part 1 of this Smudcast, it's like there's a reason why they made the alternate boots into actual separate items you can assign to a slot instead of keeping them locked as equipment.
All right.
It helped. It helped a lot.
Let's keep going.
Brewline
Yes.
is important for a series, but when it acts like a katamari of tropes and elements that can't be forgotten or changed, things start getting sloppy and samey. We get games that
Yeah, but
become
that's
less and
the
less
series in
interesting.
general, let's be
Shigeru
honest.
Miyamoto once described his idea for Zelda coming from the feeling he got from wanting to explore caves near his house as a child, which led to an amazing game where you explore caves and dungeons and found wondrous things. The irony is that when it came time to make sequels, Nintendo cared more about the things that were found rather than the mystery itself. There is no mystery in
What?
modern Zelda games. Hey man, I'm mysterious.
What?
God, shut up!
You're lying.
Seriously! You want all this attention like you care, like you really gave it your all in a new innovative Zelda experience, but instead you led Zelda into a frustrating monotony. You know, what started the franchise was like this.
Dude, you just dodged the island.
You
This is not
completely missed.
funny.
You completely missed the island, dude. You have no right.
He deliberately dodged it. He deliberately went out of his way to hit the island.
It looked hilarious though. The
Mhm.
bird was picking him up.
Mm-hmm.
sense of wonder, and what has thus far concluded the franchise is a sense of formality, a predictable, time-consuming mess that asks you not of your sense of adventure or even your wits, but instead your ability to listen and follow directions. You ask of us our ability to point something at something else and then walk towards it. You ask of us our willingness to get another bow and arrow, fight another boss with another giant glowing eyeball. Gee, I wonder how to fucking beat it. I fucking wonder, Skyward Sword. You ask of us to get a cat from the top of a roof and carry him over to some guy who says thank you. The Adventures of Link, Cat Delivery Man. Is that your title? What's the tagline on the ads? Cat's out of the bag. And
Okay, his artificial anger is just getting annoying.
Do you not remember literally the game before it where you're herding goats, my dude? Mm-hmm. By your logic, that would be just as bad, but it's not.
Think of any...
Yeah, and the hitting the eye thing is kind of a theme in Zelda games.
It's tradition! It's tradition at this point.
Every quest has, I want you to get a thing for me. Can you do that?
And the whole eye theme for Ganon stuff is getting more and more prominent. In Wind Waker, all the seals Ganon put up, they're little eyeballs. And we see this culmination in Skyward Sword. All the bosses have usually one, in some exceptions like the big scorpion, 2 large eyeballs that you have to hit. Those are the weak points. Hit the damn eyeballs. And at the end of Breath of the Wild, we see the true form of Ganon, which is a giant Cthulhu-esque Chthonian eyeball Elder God thing. That's his true form. There's a reason why it's eyeballs.
He just doesn't like eyeballs, I guess. The design is too boring for him.
Mm-hmm.
onto the roof! 10 out of 10. No Wiimote motion issues here that could possibly cripple the entire experience. Best in the series! You're like a spoiled rich kid who gets everything bought for you your entire life. And then when it comes to making it on your own, you can't take it. You expect everyone to love you because you are who you are. Part of the illustrious Zelda lineage. Nothing could...
Wait. Are you projecting right now?
I'm not sure what's
let him finish. Let him finish. I have a point to make here.
You look just like a Zelda, but you're not one. You're a pampered, doughy snob wearing nice clothes, expecting to graduate scot-free because your daddy's an alum. Why would you need to improve? Why would you need to get any better? Everyone just agrees with your shitty ideas because you're a Zelda. Fuck you, Skyward Sword. Fuck you.
Wow.
Yeah. First of all, like we've said before, the game does not deserve this much hate.
Mm-hmm.
It has flaws, to be sure, and also the stigma that just because it's Zelda and just because it's coming out on the anniversary, it's just automatically going to be good. No, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The anniversary
Aaron
edition was
Hansen
good.
playing through Skyward Sword has like absolutely nothing to.
And that's something else. And that's something else to this. I personally believe that he's doing this whole shtick because the way Skyward Sword is made kind of proves the point of him sucking at games.
Yes.
If even with the simplest of shit, the game holds your hand a decent amount of the time, but if you know what you're doing, you're good. Not even with the instructions the game lays out in front of him, can he do the simplest of things. I'm just like, my dude, you really do suck. Again, not a perfect game, but definitely a lot of the hate is overblown, if anything. That's my take on it. So
now, as I spent 373,000 years writing this freaking video, a new Zelda game showed up that made everyone pee their pants. You know, except me.
Oh, here we go.
It's weird. It was a direct sequel to Link to the Past, taking place in the same aesthetic world of Link to the Past. It's called A Link Between Worlds. And I love it. All right, look,
it's the same game almost as Link to the Past.
From a game, but it's fun. But why? Well, I feel partly because it has less wait time.
It has chests. And you walking to the chest is fun.
That's all he wants. He just wants to bash little enemies. That's all he wants. Bash little enemies, open chests, no sense to it.
It just looks like Link to the Past, therefore it's great. Okay.
Link Between Worlds has way more story exposition and character than Link to the Past.
Lots of dialogue, yeah.
Why doesn't it bother him here?
I can only imagine if Sequelitis was still going, or if he brought it back and actually made a video for Breath of the Wild, see how things would have changed.
Oh. That would be sad.
I mean, then again, well, just the games on their own. It's like part of the reason why Breath of the Wild went like literally completely open world the way it did.
Well, he might actually appreciate
it was
that.
as a that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a direct response to some of the trappings that 3D Zelda had fallen into between Ocarina and Skyward, which were it's like ultimately the problems you could coast by and they wouldn't phase you, but ultimately it was eventually those little quirks were getting a bit worse to the point of being part of a trope, essentially. So they pretty much overhauled the formula to the point where it what eventually became the Wild to address some of the things that were admittedly piling up to that point.
Here's JS for the 3. Thank you, sir. Personally, I love the fact that Zelda games have a certain Gospels-like property to them, where the main event of Link finding the Master Sword and defeating Ganon is the same, but in each instance, it's told completely differently. Every aesthetic is slightly different, aside from obviously this one right here, where it's an overhead style of the original, which is fine. Like no one minds that.
I mean, you know what? I do notice that the circumstances behind getting the Master Sword in each game are just different enough to be unique. If you notice.
Yeah, it's always this big event. You need to get except for in Breath of the Wild, you don't really need to get it, but it's always part of the story. Like the formula is pretty much the same, but the characters surrounding it, the challenges to get around it, like obviously in Link to the Past, the 3 medallions are different than other games. So it's almost the same idea, and they're just reiterating the same concept in a new light, which is more consistent, let's say, Mario, even though Mario has its own consistency based off the mechanics of jumping and running and this and that. So it's kind of funny how they're going back to the original and going, hey, let's reinvent it, because they're always reinventing it, even with the 3D versions. They're just doing different spins, different takes, and the formula works, and people like it for its puzzles, for its simplistic gameplay, and all the mechanics of tools you have to use to solve a problem. And there's very few games that do that well, or at least that robustly as Zelda has done consistently over the years. And I think even the mobile versions of those, like Four Swords and what was the other one? Those were unique. Like they're always trying to do something different with their puzzles and their gameplay, which is the point of a game. So I think it's cool. But hey, he likes the overhead camera and the style of adventure. It's like, good for you. Okay.
But it's because of the new mechanic, which is beautifully integrated to the point of feeling second nature, like jumping in a Mario game. On top of that, you have nooks and crannies around every turn that contain weird hidden stuff, and there's also this system of pay for an item that adds this interesting value to rupees that no other Zelda had. Not even Twilight Princess with
this was mobile, right?
3DS, yes.
Yeah, 3DS. I remember playing this, yeah. It was good.
It's stupid, weird, and dumbass endgame magic, not magic armor bullshit. Wow, look at that. Sure is expensive to die. Is what we're seeing a commentary on capitalist society and life insurance?
Oh, no. He's making a joke, but oh, no. We were going so well without, silly shit.
Only 2 minutes left for the video.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a joke. I'll let it go. Here's Geo Wolf. Hey, thanks for the 5. Funny bit of trivia about A Link Between Worlds. Everything in the game is at a 45-ish degree tilt to get the isometric look to it. Yeah, no, I like it. I remember playing it. It was fun. Lots of it wasn't that big of a game, but it was still pretty fun. That was great.
Policies life out of middle America. Okay. What's more, nearly every item in A Link Between Worlds has multiple uses aside from its, intended dungeon use, and has such a broad feel that they can all be upgraded to be even more useful. While it does eliminate the mystique of finding an item, it allows each dungeon to have a spoil that feels less like it's in tandem with the dungeon. Like it's a treasure that you can enjoy as a general adventurer. Not just as a house guest of fucking Mr. Vulnerable for a sec, glowy eyeball McWeak to arrows. Why did I leave my one weakness laying around my house? Oh no! Ow!
I don't know. This keeps sounding like he doesn't want technology. He wants everything to be old in 2D and overhead camera and not have any depth and just constantly do the same thing over and over again. I just...
Yeah, like for Twilight Princess, his biggest complaint was the shop that you have to keep donating to have an upgrade eventually, so they can go to the city square and open a shop where you can get even more expensive items. It's just weird because I feel a Twilight Princess and the other future Zeldas, I would say even Majora's Mask and Wind Waker were doing pretty well in these aspects. They were things that I didn't quite like with Ocarina of Time, and they just ironed them out, as I said before.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see it as a way of thinking backwards. Oh, it was so much better in the glory days. It's yeah, it was cool, but now we have 3D FX cards which are cheap and GPUs which can do better jobs and more detail and more memory and all kinds of other wonderful things. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? It's an odd thing to say. When we got Metroid Prime, I was blown away how brilliant that was. Wow, you could do Metroid in first person and you have that scanning mechanic where you learn everything you want, or if you don't, you don't have to. You don't have to read anything. Just scan anything to open a door. That was brilliant. It's so simple. The interface is so straightforward. You still get that creepy, moody exploration on an alien world vibe. And then you have all the wonderful platform puzzles. And then the standard Metroidvania exploration. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad we went to 3D. I would not think of Metroid the same way. And they're still making 2D Metroid games as well. So... and they're making Prime games as well. I would never reject either. So, anyway.
Man, that's my glowy eye! I use that to see? So I think what I've been discussing this whole video doesn't seem like it applies much to this game at first glance, but it absolutely does. This game decided to switch up the Zelda formula from a different angle. And while it doesn't eliminate the Zelda staple items and constant reuse of existing enemies, it does something different in how you interact with all of them. And that's something different.
So do 3D games. The formula's the same. What a strange argument. Oh, it looks just the same, only you could stick to walls and have 2D objects. What? I don't like 3D. We get it.
I really wonder what his conclusion's gonna be.
Yeah.
Works. How you explore the world itself, how you find things, and how you figure out things about the world around you. A stupid spinning dumbass top thing doesn't change anything. You find a track on a wall and you
so awesome.
It's like a teleporter, but instead of being transported instantly, you just get there at normal speed. A double dumbass claw shot doesn't change anything. It just means instead of having to land on a platform and awkwardly aim to another claw shot target, you don't have to land on a platform when you awkwardly aim to another claw shot target.
So he's complaining about the gimmick item while he's praising another gimmick item in the new Zelda game. It just doesn't make sense. It's like apples and oranges, really much.
Well, yeah, he just showed that platform, that spinning platform that's stuck to the wall. Gee, that reminded me exactly of A Link Between Worlds, where you're sticking to a wall and moving like a 2D painting left and right. It's the same idea.
I'm pretty sure.
Don't you have to use that thing for every single boss fight almost? Dungeon?
Every bit of exploration is connected to it, yeah. I don't know about
Well,
the
that's just
boss
the
battles.
gimmick of the game.
Yeah, that's the new thing. It's like the same with Minish Cap, right? You get really, really small. So,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's just the gimmick. So the same
Yeah,
with
I'm pretty. Yeah.
with Mario Sunshine. You know, it's Super Mario, but now he has this weird thing on his back that shoots water for some reason. He has to clean it place up. It's like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing now. So yeah, it's every Mario Zelda-ish game. They have a new gimmick. It's in 3D. And that's just how it is.
But, and it doesn't break like the fundamental core of the gameplay
The
though.
formula is the same. It's always the same. The same with Metroid Prime. The formula is exactly the same. It's just first-person perspective.
Which was Miyamoto's decision, actually, of all people.
I know, and it's brilliant. It works. And he just doesn't like that. It's too hard. It's like, yeah, you suck at games, sir. You can't understand 3D depth perception or something. I don't know why. Like when you
Like, Nintendo at least like can be praised that at least they take risks for each games. Like there was the one that they did at Star Fox Zero. I really didn't like that. That like the TV and the cockpit of the Wii U is like a different view.
Yeah, but that's the whole stigma that people have against Nintendo. Oh, they don't take risks. They always do the same thing. No, they fucking don't.
Every single
always
time
do
they
something
do
different.
with the controllers too.
They always do something different, for good or for bad. And also, to go back to this for a moment, I think I Wisp would agree with me when I say, "How dare you insult the double claw shot, you heathen!"
All right.
All right, let's move on.
We're almost done.
Yes.
God! But this shit, it changes how you view platforms, their relationship to one another, how you view distance, how you view the differences between low rule and high rule. It feels like you're exploring a world again, and the things you find are less important than the way that you find them. It's back to how it felt before.
All he's doing is bitching about a mechanic, and he likes this mechanic because I don't know. you could the camera moves slightly differently. As opposed to the hook shot, which you can shoot in any direction in 3D.
Zelda 1 secrets are way more mysterious than anything from
Completely
Link
obscure.
Between Worlds. Like there's not even the
No hints.
smallest hint for most of these. You have to do trial and error.
Yeah. All those hidden bushes that constantly burn everything to find a door. Or a staircase, or bomb everything because no one knows where anything is. But no, hints with dialogue, with quests, no, those are bad. Too much talking.
The reward fact that you did it, not that you found a thing. And you know what? I think this may be Nintendo's way of easing people into being open-minded about a shift in Zelda. I mean, look at this shit. What? Hyrule Warrior? What the fuck does that even mean? Look, what is going on? Holy
It's a different genre, buddy. It's
You wanted senseless monster slaying. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
exactly what you want.
This is what you want. Yes, I was gonna say it earlier, but I forgot for a moment. It's like if there's Hyrule Warriors, bud. That's literally what you want.
This is
There's your nonstop monster killing.
This genre is called Dynasty Clones. What is it called?
Dynasty clones, yeah.
Warriors.
Warrior Clones. Okay.
Oh my god, this big thing.
And
Jesus,
Zelda's attempt at it was
how
actually
could
pretty
they
good.
ruin Zelda? How could they ruin
They
my
didn't.
favorite thing?
No, they didn't. You're just an
They
idiot.
didn't. They didn't. It's a pretty good
Thanks for
game.
listening to
Shut
me
up.
Shout my opinion at
Oh, he's done.
Thank you.
Fuck you, dude. Warriors. The Warriors game is a pretty good game. Get the fuck out of here. And that's exactly what you fucking want.
Boy.
And you say it's ruining it.
All right. That was enough Egoraptor for a month or two or maybe the year.
Mm-hmm.
I never
What's the,
paid attention to him. He had some great animations. That was it. I never listened to him before.
was this really made right as Hyrule Warriors was announced? Because that would explain a lot. Because I remember that game being announced. I was questioning it too. It's like, really? They're doing something like this? And then I played it, and it's actually really fucking good.
What is going on with
Now let me just actually express this little thing quick before we go into streaming. It's like, yeah, it's a Warriors game. There's no question about that. But it's this is one of the few. I think this is the only Warriors spin-off that actually retains the original game that it's trying to like take from. it still feels like a Zelda game, ironically enough.
Yeah, Nintendo really wanted them to not mess that up.
So here's
Yeah, and it paid off. It paid off.
This is this. What is this? The CD. What the hell is it?
CDI games, yes.
CDI.
Yes.
We don't talk about
boy.
them.
Look at this
Oh, boy, I'm
animation
so
on his torso. Like, what's happening with his chest there?
Oh boy, I'm so hungry I could eat an Octorok.
This is what happens when you ship animators from Russia who have never worked in a Western animation studio and ask them to do something in 3 months.
It looks like
And it sucked dick.
his arms are like changing shape. His body is morphing. Like he's gaining weight anytime he inhales and exhales.
It's like someone described the concept of animation to an alien.
Yeah, it's like I need a human with 4 arms or maybe 2. What do you think?
Two arms and
of
2
the arms
legs.
also makes no sense. Like, look at his right arm.
They like retract. That's what it looks like to me. It's like,
Hey.
It's like someone doesn't know how to anatomy works.
It's gonna make.
Did this.
All right. Oh boy, little
oh,
text.
here's the joke again.
Wait, why do Gorons need a special mind for rocks to eat? There's rocks everywhere. Hylians eat plants, right? Why do you need farms? Why don't you just eat grass, asshole? Think before you speak, punk ass.
That pretty much sums up that entire years-long meme in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's rocks everywhere.
Yeah, the cavern is pretty much how they farm their food, which is minerals and ore.
They eat rocks. Food? What? Food? Rock? Food? What is it?
They oh my god. That's also part of the joke of them eating rocks. Again, they don't eat just plain ass rocks.
Yeah. Homeworld Desert of Kruk in-game combat chatter. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a minute. I think it's safe to play.
Well,
It's very chill.
I know, but
Give it a run.
we'll do it after. I've played the game. It's fantastic. I know.
Oh, good to know.
I would pay you, but that would kill your innate desire to quest.
Not in Zelda though.
I don't know. Usually they pay you for the quest, so I don't know how that works. They want something for something. According to Egoraptor, opening chest in Link to the Past, opening chest in Ocarina.
Yeah, that's the logic he puts up, and
so long.
and it's literally only a difference of 5 seconds.
You wait.
Yeah, it's basically 4 to 5 seconds. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Even as a joke, you'll get even seeing it as a joke, you'll get laughed off stage for that.
And Mark just linked the Leroy Jenkins clip.
Oh, watch that later.
It's like a 10-second clip of that goddamn thing.
What the heck is happening here?
That's from Skyward Sword.
Holy jeez, that's scary.
The context is that the guy on the top half is like the bully of the game in the early game, and this is like after the first 3 dungeons where he finds out what Link's doing, and he just goes after him, and tries to be a hero in his own right.
Okay.
Which he ends up doing.
He has an arc.
He has an arc, yeah.
Wow, characters have arcs in Zelda games, unheard of.
But they have too much dialogue. How do I?
Too much dialogue. I can't push through it fast enough to hit shit.
No,
yeah.
He really turns from dumb bully, selfish asshole to support hero.
Yeah,
to
when he's a
humble support hero.
Yes, when he's a bully, he's just straight up Biff from Back to the Future. Well, once he softens up and actually grows a pair, and it gets into the action, he actually builds an entire fucking catapult for what was it, the 3rd phase of the imprisoned battle?
A catapult. I think it's already the 2nd one.
Bomb catapult, yeah.
A catapult train system that goes around all the temple grounds, so that you can perfectly aim his super bombs that he's farming now at the imprisoned, which allows you to beat this elder god.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's partially why I hate the 2nd phase of that. The 1st phase is simple. The 3rd phase is dictated by story. The 2nd phase I fucking hate.
So
The first one I found annoying, where he has the tail and it's just annoying to get to anywhere
Well, I
at the
mean-
boss.
all right.
Well, I mean, then again, the final hit of the third phase is just scripted enough where it just becomes easy at that point.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is a meme dedicated to Egoraptor's weird childlike behavior. He just wants stuff.
Yeah.
I want it now.
Yeah, I think he's mentally somewhere between 3 or 5.
Yeah, oh, this very well known cartoon. I don't know. I do this all the time, so I don't blame people.
Oh, this one's just sad.
Oh, the last one, Geo.
Mhm.
Not a meme, but this is the 45th-ish degree tilt I mentioned.
Yeah, because that's like the visual trickery that game does, because it is a fully 3D game,
Right.
but it emulates the 2D style
I
with that.
remember playing it. I just don't remember much from it. Like I do remember the puzzles were neat and the mechanic of exploring navigating on the wall to get around things was kind of cool.
The very basic plot is similar to Link to the Past, but it has enough differences to be more of a unique thing.
It's very smooth. It's very
Although
smooth gameplay.
unfortunately, it is a case where the meme of Ganon jacking the plot definitely applies, because Ganon just shows up out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
like in Twilight Princess. But at least Twilight Princess, you have the amusement of watching Zant be a moronic mental patient before that happens.
Yeah, Zant barely gets any screen time and development, and the whole Twilight realm is so pathetically small. I wish they could have done more with it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
they
Twilight
only
Realm was
made it-
cool. I remember playing.
It was cool. So they only made it one dungeon, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty cool.
At the start was
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
yeah. Then it
I know.
didn't really go too far, but it was still fun to play. These games are well done, they're well put together. So, anyway, I did not know that video was going to be that bad. I knew because I watched parts of it just to skip ahead and see if it was worth our time. It was, but the whole thing was pretty bad. And I think you guys did a very good job because you knew the game very well, way more than I recall those games, of the details and the gameplay, the mechanics, the weapons, the gadgets. So, man, I could imagine this guy sitting around a bunch of other, I guess when he was in high school or younger, with a other bunch of people criticizing Zelda, and they're like, what the hell's, no, that's awesome, dude. What are you talking about? Like, that's fun. We love that part. We have to fight those bosses with this way. And there's multiple ways to defeat a boss in Zelda, which makes it more of a puzzle game than a hack and slash game.
Dude, even I remember watching this video when it first came out. I was like 16 or 17, and even back then I was calling Aaron out on his bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, that
And I
was
was hyped for Hyrule Warriors once I like learned more about it. Oh, what's Warriors? That's Warriors. It's like, okay,
right.
maybe I'll try it. And
Well-
then it's like, yeah,
Well, the fact that he was criticizing later games just because they're 3D when having exactly the same mechanics or exactly the same puzzles or style of puzzles seems almost blind. Like he didn't actually pay attention to what he was trying to say. So those were
oh
silly.
hell no.
Hook shot the hook shot can fire a second. That's so unoriginal. I was like, dude, that's really helpful. That's how you design
It is
puzzles.
very good. It is very good. Yes.
And every Zelda has an innovation, whether it's 3D or 2D. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You can just criticize the theme or the motif, saying, "Oh, Wind Waker is not my thing. I don't like the style." It's like fine. I don't like go get 'em puzzles where someone wants you a fetch quest, you have to go get something. He doesn't like that. It's like, I understand that. That's fine. But every game has fetch quests. Every game has to go get a thing.
I know people to this day that still dislike Wind Waker because of the cartoony art style, but even they can recognize that it's still a solidly built game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was not even 2 hours and a half. I think we're doing pretty well, guys. We're getting through stuff. Of course, that was half a video, so. But, yeah, I'm glad.
The other thing is that, like we discussed, his previous points at great length. So
Yeah, if you guys.
there weren't too many new ones that he brought up.
Yeah, well, they were mostly just bitching about the new iteration not being as good as the first, even though the mechanics were almost identical. And I don't know, he just didn't like him for some.
And also like the final jab at Hyrule Warriors, and I'm just like, bro, at that point we knew nothing about it, and it ended up being a really fun game at the end of the day.
Yeah. If it wasn't so grindy.
Yeah, but that's Warriors games in general.
I know. So for Warriors game, it's okay.
Man, that's what it is. First and foremost,
The
it is a
writing is
Warrior.
so bad.
It is a Warrior.
Yeah, so I can only see
Yeah.
the entertainment value is from people who like the guy who makes jokes, and they just saw his outrageous outbursts and they laughed along. I don't think they listened to him very clearly. And either just maybe they're casual gamers, and maybe they just pick up Mario and Nintendo and whatever games.
Yes.
And
It
don't
tends
I
to
think
be
he's
the
beneath casual.
He's beneath casual. Yeah, he's baby level.
Huh.
I would say like the kind of content he produces for Game Grumps is like the most normie thing that he could do.
Pretty much.
He's like the guy who wants a Rubik's cube that has the same color on every side.
It's too
Like
hard.
that's mint green on every side on every tile.
Oh boy.
Why mint green?
I just because there's a picture of exactly that somewhere online.
Because
And-
Really?
And yeah, I call it the casual cube. And he just wants to turn the sides of the cube and always have it solved, so that he can feel good about himself.
Okay,
it's too bad that they have already played the CDI Zelda games because the somebody remade them. Somebody
Oh,
went
yeah.
through the hard work and actually reprogrammed the game, so now it's
Well,
not buggy.
Well, now that we've gone through this entire video, we can pretty much say that the thumbnail is pretty much the two links looking at each other and acknowledging how stupid Aaron is.
Yeah, yeah, you can interpret it that way. Yeah.
So I don't know
Dude,
who's
what
in
the
the chat
fuck's up
telling
with
me I'm
this
not
guy?
paying attention to Aaron's arguments. He's not making arguments. He's just saying I dislike something.
Which argument then? Okay, can you please like point out that?
Yeah,
I dislike it when it's in this game.
When
It's
it's-
totally awesome
is-
when it's in this game. What?
He is-
It's the same thing.
He is fanboying about Link to the Past and bashing Ocarina of Time, both for literally the exact same things.
and then he talked about Warriors, which he doesn't like, even though he just wants to hit stuff and explore.
Yeah.
Even though
Warriors
and we
is
knew-
the Zelda game he wants.
also the fact that we knew nothing else about the game other than it existed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was unfair even at a baseline
so
to jab at that game.
if you guys have problems with what we were saying, just leave them in the comments after this video is done going live, and we'll no problem addressing them. His arguments aren't very good, if you can even call them arguments at all. So, I have no great reverence or hatred to these games because they're fun, they're memorable, but to a point. And when I was playing them at the time, I thought they were brilliant. But they were all good puzzle games. That's what Zelda has always been. Good puzzle game, get item to do thing, to get past other door, to find other puzzle, to get new item, to get past other door. And the doors are all over the map.
Yeah, that's just the formula.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I would say, like, to answer the person in the chat, is that, like, I don't think, like, Aaron listens to the game, because he live streamed Ocarina of Time, like, a long time ago. I think I caught, like, a part of that thing. And you can still rewatch that live stream on YouTube somewhere. Or you can just watch his recent Let's Play of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and like you just like see like he doesn't pay attention.
played
to any
it
of the dialogue,
again?
but because like he's just concentrating on like everything else. Or like
Did he really play
doesn't
it
seem to be
again?
able to like grasp it. Like he needs to change weapons. He shouldn't like equip certain things. The dungeon is telling him what to do, and he's not listening.
Why would he play it that many times if he hates it so much?
Yeah,
Fucking
well-
dumbass.
We have this mindset that like that's how he played through Ocarina of Time.
If
And
you
then
guys,
he made the criticism.
yeah, if you guys are telling me he's worse than DSP Phil, I mean that is pretty sad.
Well, for playing Ocarina of Time, at least, because there wasn't comparisons between the two, and it took him longer to complete the game than DSP.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we've exhausted ourselves talking on this topic, but please leave the comments if you have any issues. And
Next time we will go Dark Side Phil.
Well, either myself or others who will go into the comments. I'll direct them, because we have no problems talking about this thing after the fact, and we do this all the time. So whether it's live or on Discord, in one of the channels, or on YouTube comments, we're fine to do that. So any if we miss something, no problem. Point us to the video. We'll address it again, and we're happy to answer your questions. So thank you so much for taking the time with us to finish off this video. I actually enjoyed it because I like Zelda. It brings back good memories. And a little sad to see some guy hate on it like that. Maybe if he was less emotional and more mechanical, and explaining why the Z lock-on is so bad, and like he didn't even
because
bitch
you need
about...
to push the button. You need to hold the button. Just hold the button.
He never...
The game is so easy. The game is so fucking easy.
He never...
I've been holding. You can just like...
I was,
have a
12
toggle
when I
on it.
played it, and it was so bloody easy.
Yeah, he barely bitched about Navi, which is the most common argument I've heard from 3D Zelda.
I think but I think the Navi thing is exaggerated in due to meme levels.
Maybe, yeah. That's what I
Navi is
recall.
not that annoying.
That's mostly what I recall in terms of problems with the Ocarina. Like, oh, it's always nagging you to lock onto this or to do that. It's like, that's helping you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have yourself a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow. And take it easy. Have a great night. Goodbye.
Yeah.